back to Bellevue Bound. I'm your host, Megan Adams, and today I am joined by Tristan Bondison, the Assistant Course Manager of Bellevue Adventures. And I'll give you a little teaser as to what they do. Their signature at the end of their emails is, "See you in the trees." Well, I love that. What a fun signature.
Thank you. I try to keep my signatures light and fun and like with the job, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about Bellevue Adventures.
Yeah.
What is Bellevue Adventures?
Bellevue Adventures is a high adventure experience. We have a bunch of different operations. We have our zip tour, which you've been on.
Yes.
7-line zip tour with 2 suspension bridges and a short walk. Then we also have our new aerial adventure park, 2 levels with 27 different elements, along with 2 auto belay exits and also a hydraulic zipline. We also have our rock wall, which is 2-sided rock wall, great for people of all ages, with 2 auto belays and 2 top roping. And then we also have our low course, which is for more corporate and educational team building process.
Wow, that's so much that you offer there. And is this in collaboration with the City of Bellevue?
Yes.
Tell us about that partnership.
So the City of Bellevue, they really wanted to be able to provide for the community and really offer things to get people out of their comfort zones and get people, outside specifically. So back in 2006, they decided to build this adventure course, this challenge course. And from then on, it kind of just grew from there. They've added the zip tour, then they added the low course, and now we are in partnership with them, basically providing for our community.
Yeah, and I live in King County.
Yeah.
I drive past that area all the time, and it wasn't until I visited you that I knew exactly where you're located.
Yeah.
Where is the location? Help us understand.
So we are located in Eastgate Park, which is right behind, I would say, the South Bellevue Community Center, right where the 90 and the 405 meet near the T-Mobile building.
Okay.
We're right there, just packed into the suburbs.
Yeah, I love it. And that area is so jam-packed. Not only do you have Bellevue Adventures, but you also, that South Bellevue Community Center is fantastic. There's something for everyone.
Everything.
Yeah, I love it. Have you always been into this sort of work, Tristan? I mean, were you always like jumping off of cliffs or belay on when you're entering a room? Tell us about your history and how you landed in this field.
Yeah, so I was very lucky. I was born into it. My parents worked in this industry. They had a outdoor educational company in SoCal since 1990. My mom has been in the professional development world since the 80s, and my dad has been building ropes courses since the 90s.
Did you have that in your backyard? Please say yes.
He did build kind of like a random janky little zip line in the backyard.
I'm into it.
But they owned the first zip tour in SoCal back in the early 2000s, and since then I've just been into it.
Yeah, it's part of your DNA.
It is.
I love that. And I imagine, I've been to Bellevue Adventures. It's, oh my gosh, one of my favorite experiences. And I left feeling different. It's wonderful. We're all about experiences, right? Not only if we're living in a place or traveling in a place, we want to have different experiences. I'm assuming when people visit you and they have an experience at Bellevue Adventures, they leave sort of changed in some small way. Can you talk about the transformation when people go through Bellevue Adventures and what that's like?
Yeah, so as humans, we are built to be scared of heights.
That's true. I can attest to that. I am also, I feel like most of us are, right?
Yeah, pretty much everyone is.
Okay.
I think my brain is a little bit broken, but for the majority of the population.
In the best possible way, Tristan.
In the best possible
come on.
way.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how I would do this job without it.
No,
but with that, everyone is scared of heights in some way, whether it be, being actually scared of being up high or whether it's being scared of falling. That is something that is built in our DNA. That is something that, we're born with. That is something that keeps us alive, right?
Yeah.
And so by coming out here and stepping out of your comfort zone and, whether that be putting on your harness or, actually getting to the top of, our course and zipping back down, you are making an active choice to make a change in your own life.
I mean, I can attest to that. So when I visited you, y'all,
I
had a chance. What? It was good. It was
good.
amazing. But really, I mean, so we had a chance at Visit Bellevue. Our whole team went and tried their ziplining.
And then go up together. But whenever you're ready, you're going to start sending one person off at a time. Again, keeping it nice and balanced. Nice. Keeping it balanced.
These are going to be going over our shoulders.
Over the shoulder, shoulder holder. God, this is so pretty. Which was awesome. It was such an amazing experience. So can you walk through what a customer can expect if they go on the ziplining courses?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our reservations take place online, so book through there.
We'll leave that link at the bottom. Yeah. All right, keep going.
You're good. Once you book your adventure, you'll be coming to our front desk. That's where our vault is. It's basically just a giant storage container with our gear in it.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic.
You'll get to talk.
Resourceful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll get to talk to one of our amazing adventure guides. They're going to walk you through the whole process. They're going to make sure that you have gloves that you need. They'll make sure that you're properly weighed for our experience. And they'll kind of just like hype you up a little bit so you got this.
Yeah.
After that, you're going to head straight up the hill. Once you're up the hill, you're going to be able to meet your guides, whoever those may be for that day. They'll walk you through putting on your gear, how it should fit, how it should feel. Once you're done with that, you get to go up into the trees. We'll do more safety talks, and then essentially we just go line after line. And our guides are really wonderful at talking you through the whole experience, like what you're getting into, how the gear works if you have questions about it.
Yeah, that gear is... It's effective and strong, and it makes you feel assured that you will be safe. It's also not the most becoming. So it's really nice to have people going, you look great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were so supportive. And what I loved about our team is that we had people in different comfort zones.
Yeah.
Some people that really wanted to hold on as they went down the zip line, and other people that really were just, Trey, my co-host, he literally just jumped backwards and floated through the air.
He did so good.
So what are those options as far as, when you jump off and you take that literally leap of faith?
Yeah.
What are your options there as far as comfort zones and the way you experience it?
Yeah, we want to meet people where they're at. And we want to make sure that everyone is feeling at least somewhat comfortable. Because obviously you're in your growth zone. You're really,
Ooh, growth zone. What does that mean? Tell me about that.
Okay, so it's a really cool concept that we have, which is basically your comfort zones. So let's say this chair that I'm sitting in right now, this is your comfort zone. This is where you're most comfortable. I have my Red Bull in this cup.
Okay.
I am talking to you. We're having a good time, right?
Yeah.
Outside of this room where we are is our growth zone. We get out. We get to learn more about ourselves. We get to kind of challenge ourselves. It's not always comfortable, but you're, growing and you're learning new things about yourself. Now, once you get out of that growth zone, we have what's called the panic zone.
Yes.
And everyone has that panic zone. And the goal is to stay in your growth zone without getting to that panic zone. And, worst case scenario, if you get too panicky, come back to that comfort zone. That's where you're comfortable. That's where you can recharge. But the goal is the more you're in your growth zone, your comfort zone will grow with that.
I love that. And the growth zone, that growth zone actually grows the more you experience it. And I remember one of our team members decided they wanted to participate, but they didn't want to go on the zip line.
Yeah.
So they stayed below, they cheered, they were helping hook people up. And so they were a part of the experience without actually going down the zip line, which is such a fantastic way to do it. Of course, they captured some really great pictures.
Yeah.
Please don't show mine. Oh, you guys, my pictures were hilarious. My mouth was agape the whole time, and it was so much fun. And you've expanded. So at the top, you talked about all these things that you're offering.
Yeah.
You've really expanded in the last year. Now you have a climbing wall. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have expanded a lot. Originally, we had a different element, but we changed the climbing wall because it's a bit more versatile for people. I wouldn't say it's easier, but it's easier for, people who, may have a harder time, because climbing is a big, strenuous process. It is hard if you're not strong.
Yeah.
And so climbing wall is a bit more of it's welcoming for everyone who needs it. And so doing the climbing wall, we have both our auto belays, which is kind of, you get to come and you get to climb up, and then that little auto belay.
Can someone just belay and pull you up, so all you're doing is just kind of suspended there and being dragged up the wall? I mean, I think that would be my preferred mode.
That's fair. Not in your challenge zone. You're not going with that.
Oh, I guess it's not my growth zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Got it. Fair.
Yeah. Being able to, climb up, you are completely clipped in at all times. You are completely secured into this basically foolproof system that we have. And so being able to step out of that comfort zone, but also doing that in a secure place where you can feel more comfortable is the goal of what we do. And with the climbing wall, we have more opportunities for, younger people to be able to come out, and people of different mobility to be able to come out and experience it. So
tell us about that. You said different ages, different mobilities. Love to learn about that.
Yeah. So for our rock wall, we have lowered our age to, I believe it's 5 years old.
Oh, cute. I love it.
So we can have little cute ones climbing up the rock wall. And very exciting, our brand new aerial adventure park. A portion of our level 1 is wheelchair accessible.
Yes.
It is wonderful. We have paved the whole walkway, so it is wheelchair accessible to even get up there, because it's normally muddy and gross and weird. And so it is 4 different elements that are all wheelchair accessible.
Wow. Awesome.
We have wheelchair accommodations with our gear, and then also being able to zip down.
Wait. People that use a wheelchair can do a ziplining, or tell me about that.
So we have one hydraulic zipline that is on there. So as the wheelchair user gets to go through the course, they are then raised up to our second level and be able to zip down to the bottom, essentially.
That's the coolest thing ever. I mean, accessibility, I think, is important to all of us, or should be. I mean, we really care about giving everyone an opportunity to be able to experience these things. Yeah. And I think for so long, we just thought, okay, well, only these people with these abilities can have these experiences and these challenges. And to be more inclusive builds our community, builds our opportunity, grows us as individuals, and, our families and our visitor experience, too, which is awesome. Thank you for investing in that and for doing that. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're very thankful that the city pushed for that and wanted that. That was definitely something that they have been looking for in accessibility. And so we're thankful that they're taking that step and that we're able to accommodate for that.
We're thankful too. Yeah. That's awesome. You said 5 years of age. Is that also including the ziplining? Tell us about the ages of ziplining and the other courses.
Yeah, so for our rock wall, it is 5 years. That means little ones can come out and climb. A lot of it is based off of weight requirements of what our gear can handle and what our gear takes. So for just the rock wall, it is 5 and over. And then for our aerial adventure park and our zip tour, it is going to be 8 years of age. So with that, it is a little bit older, but it's something that, if someone comes to the rock wall and they're like, ooh, I want to do that.
Okay, so you mentioned something about, I think, challenge courses, an aerial park challenge course. What's the difference between an aerial park, I'm assuming it's above, and a challenge course?
Yeah, so challenge course, we typically use that for similar things with aerial parks. Okay. Our aerial park is going to be a bit more accessible for the public, so you can, sign up online just like you would for our zip tour.
Wait a second. If you want to sign up online, you can click the link below. yeah, you're in it. You've got the finger.
Yeah, exactly.
Good job.
Thank you.
Progress.
But with that, basically, our aerial park is obviously a lot more accessible for everyone. But we also will still be offering our challenge and educational programming. So if a school or a corporation or literally anyone wants to come out and get a private time on our aerial adventure park and do some more like heavy team building processing, that is also a possibility.
That's fantastic. Tell us about team building. I know I went with my Visit Bellevue team, and it was one of the most fun experiences that we've ever had. And it's a shared experience. Tell us about what a team building experience can be, and is it customized? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times when people think of team building, they think of like, oh God, we're doing a team building.
Big womp womp.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
Some like silly games that we get to play in the office.
Yes,
on,
a lot
like,
of sticky notes.
Oh yeah,
so
exactly.
many sticky notes.
It's boring, but that's not the heart of team building. When it comes to team building and team development, it is being able to bond with your team and be able to use experiences and activities to initiate talks and conversations and changes in the real workplace. So we have our low course, we have obviously our aerial adventure park, and we have what are called portable programs. So those are, we have props and we get to play what someone would call a game. We call initiatives or activities. And so these activities are presented to these people, and it can be something as silly as, okay, you have a bunch of PVC pipes and you have a little ball and you need to get this little ball from one end of your office to the other end. And you can't touch it. You can only use the PVC pipes for it.
Y'all, I love this sort of thing. I am bringing this in. Y'all, we're bringing this in. Okay,
Yes,
PVC,
wonderful.
keep going. This is so much fun.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
And
I think it's a game, by the way.
it is.
Okay.
The thing is, obviously it's a game, right?
Sure.
But what really makes it team bonding and an initiative is the talks that we get to have after, kind of processing what worked about this. What did you guys do well that made this work out in the end? What did you guys think that like, that could have gone better. That wasn't great. And what do you think we could do later to be able to kind of change it and tweak it? Now we get to do that with like all different activities, and how we present it is basically like, so let's pretend that this is your workplace. Let's pretend that this is a project that you need to get done. Like, tell me about how this activity translates to the real life. And it very much is like creative and like tactical learning put into use, and being able to bring it back to your workplace, back to your school group, however it is, it makes things a lot easier to like tangibly see it and be able to make that change.
Yeah, and when you're behind a computer most of the time, I can see how the humanity and the tactile and the interaction of this, using your body, seeing someone in a new space. You did say something where I'm not sure I was fully tracking.
Yeah.
Not only can they be on your location, but then you can bring these activities to their office. Is that right?
Yeah, so we have what's called traveling team building programs. Obviously, we can't bring the whole aerial park to you. We can't
No big cedars to your office?
No,
Okay,
unfortunately.
fair.
We can't bring, like our big whale watch or anything like that. But we
Although I
can.
want you to try. That sounds fantastic.
That would be fun, right?
Yeah, right. Whale watch. Wait. I don't mean to waylay us, but
No,
what
you're
is a
good.
whale watch?
So that is one of our other low activities. It is basically a giant board that sits on a fulcrum. Your team has to be able to get every person onto that board without each side of the board tipping and touching the ground. So it's a lot of, trying to figure out strategy and like communication. And, sometimes we may take away your words, so you can only communicate through body language. And it is a very interesting and surprisingly hard thing that people get to do, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I love that. So you can do it on site, on your location at Bellevue Adventures, but also bring it to the company itself. Can you go to different places like the park or something like that?
Yeah, so for our traveling team building, it's definitely not, we can't bring all of these big heavy props with us, but we can bring, the PVC pipes and the marbles, and we can bring tarps, and we can bring, tent poles and other things to play activities with. And so I would say it's still like fully team building, fully doing it. But it's, the comfort of your own office, or if you want to, do it in your classroom or a park or, the parking lot, whatever it is, we can bring it to you.
And what are these team building courses based off of, as far as like, is it a certain type of team building strategy that you're using that you've implemented at other locations? Where did you learn about these sort of tactics?
Yeah, so this industry has been very alive since the 80s.
Yeah.
A lot of different concepts. I can't recall any of their names
That's
now,
okay.
unfortunately.
We'll add it in the link. I don't know.
But the idea of like tactically learning things and being able to experience things with your team is kind of where it's all based. All of the activities that we do are things that like other facilitators in other parts of the world have also done and also learned. It's something that I think is useful in everyday like things, but a lot of people don't know about it, because when people think team building, they think, oh, boring, stuffy office things, weird trust falls,
Yes.
like weird stuff like that.
Yes. And I want to put on record that I trust my team to catch me in a trust fall. I just want to put it there. But truly, I mean, I think that's great. And I think so often nowadays we talk about loneliness and isolation. I mean, really, there's an enormous challenge in our society across the globe of people feeling isolated. How do you think this helps in mental wellness, not only on the individual side, but also with teams and companies? How does this play an important role, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we're in Bellevue, and Bellevue specifically has a lot of people who work in tech and work behind desks a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's very important, especially for us living in Washington, this most beautiful state, is getting outside.
Yes.
And being outside can truly improve like mental state and just general well-being. I have experienced it over the past few weeks, being back out in the field after a few months of, being behind my desk for a few months. And so it's truly healing to be outside. And I think both on like a personal level of, someone who just wants to come out and zipline for the weekend, or someone who is looking to like bond more with your team and kind of get more into like the deep nitty-gritty parts of like communication and like talking about like problem solving skills. Being able to do that, one, outside is very healing, and two, in-person, face-to-face, like human contact is also extremely important.
Yeah, I love that. And in Bellevue, we're known as being, I don't know if you know this, but a city in a park.
Yeah.
We've got over 100 parks throughout Bellevue.
Yeah.
And so whether or not you're just leaving your office to take a stroll around the Bellevue Downtown Park or Wilburton or Botanical Gardens, or doing something a little more extreme and fun and outside, inside the growth zone, though.
Exactly.
In the growth zone, going to Bellevue Adventures, I think, is fantastic. Talk to us. We talked a little bit about the Pacific Northwest being beautiful. It is. It's so gorgeous. I happen to live in the forest. I love that environment, and being able to see Mount Rainier, the Cascades, the Olympics, and then Lake Washington. I mean, we are surrounded by beauty.
We are.
At Bellevue Adventures, I know you care about sustainability, and tell us about how that plays a role in the work that you do. And tree doctors. Tell me about tree doctors.
We love our tree doctors.
I mean, who doesn't, right?
Yeah. I mean, if, people don't know what a tree doctor is,
Yeah,
it's an
I don't know what it
arborist.
is, by the way. Oh, it's an artist?
An arborist.
Awesome. Kind of an artist, though, too.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Arborists are basically like tree specialists. They're scientists. And so we have arborists come out twice a year. They come out and they basically do a checkup on our trees. They make sure everything is looking good. They test for soil. They test for like what, minerals and toxins are in the soil. They test to see how much the tree has grown. It's basically like a checkup for them.
I love it.
They'll put, measuring tapes around it, check the circumference. They'll check, root health, and they'll check like overbranch health. Obviously, they look at that for our trees that, hold the platforms and hold our participants. But they also do that for the trees that surround us, because we are in a forest that has a lot of different trees. We have both Douglas firs and broadleaf maples in our forest.
Oh, yeah, that's
Douglas
great.
firs are, meant for, being very tall, very strong, very sturdy. And then along with that, we have our broadleaf maples. They're a little bit more flimsy. They go with the flow.
They just like to dance.
Yeah.
Not flimsy, just dancing.
Yeah, they're going in the wind. But with the wind, we do get to experience branches falling. And so as arborists, they come out and basically look at things and are like, okay, we think that this branch needs to go away. And then we get to cut it before, it becomes a problem. And so we want to make sure that the trees are healthy. We're constantly making changes and doing things to be able to accommodate for tree growth and making sure that the trees are healthy and putting down mulch in places where, people are walking and it could disturb root settlements.
Yeah, and it's a protected area, I'm assuming, too, so which is important. I also was thinking about, we have a lot of folks that have just moved to Bellevue, and maybe they're moving from a place that doesn't have a lot of, forested areas and things like that. I can imagine just having an experience at Bellevue Adventure opens their eyes to the importance of preservation and sustainability for our forests and our natural resources. Yeah. So just having that experience, it feels like that would be important. At Visit Bellevue, one of our missions is inspiring memorable experiences. There's so many in Bellevue, right? There's so many things to do. I bet you have a gazillion, I think that's a number, I don't know, a gazillion memorable experiences that you can remember. Can you share just a couple with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I'm the manager, so I'm typically more, in the background on the computer helping guests as it comes. Yeah. But I get to go out in the trees sometimes, and that is my favorite part of the job.
I bet.
And those times are very special to me. And I can particularly remember one experience. We had a older woman and one of her younger friends come out. And they were the most lovely, amazing people I've ever experienced. They made it through our first 3 lines. And after that, the older woman was like, okay, I think I've experienced all I want to, and we're good. So, she goes down and she goes to wait for her friend, and, I have an amazing tour after that, right? And then I come down, and 2 of my guides have been talking to this woman for 2 hours. They've been there for 2 hours when they were supposed to go home after they finished their shift.
I love it.
And they just made such a beautiful connection with this woman, and were able to really just talk about nature and kind of talk about differences in, generational gaps. And that is one of my favorite memories, just being able to see my staff connect with someone on that deep level.
Yeah, that really struck me when we got to meet your team, just how not only personable they were, but how deeply they care, not only about the customers, that are having these experiences, but about the nature and the experience itself. And that was really wonderful. What about a corporate team? Any team building that stand out for you?
I have worked with a lot of different corporate teams, both with Bellevue Adventures and also with other companies that I've been with in the past. And I think one of my favorites is we were working with a group that I believe was with Amazon. And one of their team members was really, really scared to go on the high course. And I was at the top of the pole, and this gentleman, climbed up the pole. He got there and he was freaking out. Understandably so.
Yeah, in the panic zone, not growth zone.
No. Yeah. And so my job in that moment was to kind of talk him down and be able to just kind of sit with him, make him feel like, okay, everything's cool, right? Listen for 2 sounds. Name 2 sounds that you hear. Name 3 tastes that you taste on your tongue. Name 3 colors that you see. And basically just being able to calm him down to the point where he was comfortable, and after that conversation, he was able to finish the course. And I gave him a huge high five at the end, and I was like, nice job, man. You did it.
Absolutely.
And he went away happier and more confident than he did before.
Me too, as a matter of fact. Rosa! Woo!
It is a little tricky. I have
always scream when I'm doing something fun, exciting, even sometimes mundane. I'll just yip because I'm so excited. But it really was. I mean, it got all of us in our growth zone. We got to experience something together. There's nothing like the stories that come from those experiences, whether you're climbing a wall or zipping down trees or also the challenge courses. I mean, it really was so much fun. Yes. Thank you again for guiding us through that.
Absolutely.
I do have a few more questions, but before we do it, let's have a sip from our new Bellevue Bound mugs. Cheers. Cute, right? So cute. Okay. Here's our speed round. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. Not really speedy. Not as fast as like a Zipline, please. I mean, you're so brave. We've got this. Okay. Why should visitors include a stop at Bellevue Adventures?
They should include a stop at Bellevue Adventures because it's something that a lot of people haven't experienced before. And even if you have experienced before, it's a different experience. So you should try it.
Yeah. And I want to expand my question because really, if you're locals, visitors, workforce, just come by and experience it, try it, even just watch it for a first time.
Honestly.
Because it's so much fun. Okay. Next one.
Okay.
Is there a business in Bellevue that you would like to host at Bellevue Adventures? Think of one business. Who would you love to invite to Bellevue Adventures?
Well, we've done some of our staff gatherings at Mox, and I would love to have the Mox team come out and try out our stuff.
Oh, I mean, that's the most fun. We just interviewed that group. They were so fantastic. And I would love to compound the idea with have the Mox team and some of their clientele join you at Bellevue Adventures, but they have to be in cosplay.
Ooh.
Okay. That'd be so fun, right?
That'd be very fun.
Yes. Okay. I want to see it. Send us pictures. Okay. If you have comments about that, how you want that too, you can put it down in the comments section. Okay. Next one. What are you excited about for in the future at Bellevue Adventures?
Yeah. I'm excited to be able to kind of see where this new adventure park is taking us because it's kind of a new operation for us. We had a challenge course before, but now we're really marketing towards the public. And I'm really excited to see how it translates and what the community thinks and what the community, enjoys about it and how they come back. And I'm just excited to see where it goes from here because we've put a lot of work into this new course. And I want as many people to come out as possible to come experience it with us.
Oh, that's fantastic. And can you remind me of the time period that you all are open?
Yeah, so we will be open for this season at least, from April to October. Okay. That is our current plan right now. And who knows, we may be even open over some of the winter months. We'll see.
Ooh, just bring a parka or something.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
If you're not,
all right, we'll leave that information below
cold.
So you can experience it and find that information with your teams. And your family's last question, are you ready? One of my favorite things is to visit a company where I have a little bit of the secret sauce information, where I have a little tip and trick or insider's knowledge as to what they might be able to find at a business or experiences. There's something we should be looking for when we visit Bellevue Adventures that's something not everyone knows about.
That's such a good question.
That's why I have this job.
I'd say look out for wildlife.
What?
Whether that be a little dog running underneath the zip line as they're going on their daily walk, or it be a bear.
Really? Do you see bears there every once in a while?
Every once in a while. We have a full family of deer that lives in the forest. We used to have a fox that lived there. I haven't seen him in a while. But there's a lot of wildlife, surprisingly, in, a small park that's in Bellevue. So keep an eye out for it.
Tristan, thank you so much for joining us on Bellevue Bound. It's been great to see you again and talk to you, learn more about the company and your expansion.
Absolutely.
And
it was good
thank
talking.
you. Absolutely. And thank you for joining us for Bellevue Bound. If you want more information on Bellevue Adventures, click the link below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch our next episodes. Thanks again.
This video was recorded and produced by Just Talk Studios, the premier video podcasting studio in Bellevue, Washington. Visit justtalkstudios.com to learn more and book your session today.